Hello my little learners, you can call me Lovegood, and I hope you enjoy this video. Here are just a few things before we get started. Today I'm presenting you with Chapter 19 of Ghostly Bonds, titled Alice by Peggy, by KittyKqt on AO3. But anyway, thank you for tuning in to listen to me, but that's enough of my rambles and jambles, and let's get right into the fic. This is the summary. Summary. Airy. Let's get right into the fic. Izuku paused, watching a group of villains trudge past where he floated, saying nothing important. Izuku knew where he was going due to Night Eye's quirk. A raid had been spoken about for some time due to the quirk-removing drug, but it was expedited with their new knowledge. It was still early morning, and they were running off the assumption that Overhaul would still be resting. One of the few underground heroes in the area had spotted someone matching his description late last night, allowing a small time slot. He passed through another wall, staying as high as he could to ensure he wouldn't phase through anyone, no matter their height. This hallway was more desolate than the others, and he only spotted one person turning into a nearby room. Luckily, it wasn't the one he needed to go to. He pushed into the final room, the difference clear. Children's toys were packed neatly into cubbies, a dull rainbow rug in between them. There was a cloud nightlight that lit up the room, just enough for him to see everything. Tucked into one corner of the room was a small bed, a pile of blankets covering it. Izuku could see the child's feet poking out of the bottom of her too small bed. He floated near her, aware of the time strain. "Hello," he said quietly, hoping the practice with Present Mike's quirk recently would come in handy. He assumed it did, because instead of jumping off the bed, the young girl stood up slowly, her wide-awake eyes scanning the room. She looked sickly, bandages covering her two small limbs, her sunken eyes giving away her exhaustion. She whispered something, and he moved closer to hear it better. Doctor?" Her words were slurred, slower than they should have been as she looked around, searching. "I'm not the doctor," Izuku explained, and she blinked slowly. "My name is Ghost. I'm a hero." Her eyes went wide as she shook her head. "No heroes. He won't like you here." She looked panicky, searching the room for him. "It's okay," he said calmly, hoping she understood. "I need you to do something for me." She didn't say anything, biting her lip as her chin quivered. "Go get some toys out. I want you to play with them." "Why?" she asked, but she moved to do it. Her bare feet dragging over the floor he could imagine was cold. It was concerning how quickly she listened to him when she didn't even know him. She took two dolls from their places, gingerly setting them on the floor before joining. Almost robotically, she moved them just slightly. "They're watching us. I need to talk to you without them knowing." She nodded, her mouth moving slowly, though she didn't say anything. "I'm here to save you," he explained, watching her struggle to understand. She finally did, shaking her head gently. No, he'll kill you. He kills everyone who tries to help." Izuku floated beside her, not touching her. They didn't know what her quirk was yet for him to safely copy. "He can't kill me, sweetie. Do you know what a ghost is?" She shook her head slightly before pausing and standing up to get a book from a fairly bare shelf. "This?" She points to the cover, bringing it back to the rug. A picture of Casper spiraled back, hand raised in a wave. Izuku laughed slightly, nodding. She seemed to relax at the sound, setting the book down gently. "Ghosts aren't scary. You laugh." He grinned. "No, I'm not scary. Being a ghost means I already died." She paused as she brushed the doll's hair back, turning to look at where his voice was. "Keep playing," he reminded her, and she went back to it. "He can't kill what's already dead." She nodded as if it made perfect sense, looking back over to her book. "I can't be saved," she said sadly, a tear running down her cheek. Izuku fought to not brush it away as he shook his head. "I have friends, and we plan to save you." She nodded, biting her lip. "I need you to do something for me, though." She nodded slightly, her eyes locked on her doll, though she didn't move it anymore. "I need some of your blood." Her eyes shot up, The doll dropped from her hand, grabbing her bandaged arm as she shook her head. No, that's his. I can't. It hurts people. It takes away their sickness, but it hurts them. I don't wanna. Her words were rushed, hurried, as she looked around in fear. Sweetie, Izuku said gently. She paused slightly, still as she listened. It won't hurt anyone. I have a friend whose quirk is super cool, like yours. But she needs to drink some of your blood for it to help us. She didn't say anything, rubbing at her arms repeatedly. You know how I'm a ghost? Think of her like a vampire. If she drinks some of your blood, she can distract Overhaul and get you out of here. She shook her head slowly, picking up a doll again. Will it hurt? Will you have to put me back together? Izuku froze, staring at the little girl. He had known about Overhaul's quirk, of course. There had been video footage discovered of him killing someone with just one touch. The body had been ripped apart from the inside out. If he had been doing that to this little girl, Izuku was going to make sure he got what he deserved. Ghost? She asked, her voice soft. Will it hurt? Oh, no, Izuku said quickly, shaking his head. Just a little pinch and I can get enough. It won't hurt at all. The little girl bit her cheek, nodding. Okay, just a pinch. Izuku sighed in relief, touching his pocket gently. He had since learned to extend his quirk to a small area, allowing inanimate objects to move with him. A small jar and a syringe were situated to him, allowing ease of access. Do they have cameras in the bathroom? He asked, looking to the only door in the room. She shook her head, standing up slowly. No, but they know when I've gone in. Only 3 minutes. She recited it off as if she knew it by heart, standing up slowly. Okay. I need you to go in there, okay? I'm just going to take a little. The girl nodded, moving slowly across the floor to the bathroom. The second she turned the handle, a click sounded and a small timer on the wall of the bathroom started ticking down. Izuku had to move fast once the door shut. He pulled out the syringe and jar, setting it on the counter. He took a deep breath, pulling his energy from it as it clinked on the counter. She stared at it, her eyes lighting up slightly as she mouthed something. I'm going to guide you through this, okay? I'm not going to push or force you. Do you understand? She nodded slightly, unwrapping her bandage just enough. The little bit of her skin he could see was covered in a mix of cuts and scars, twisting all around as she showed her wrist. Ready? She nodded, biting her cheek as she slammed her eyes shut, preparing for it. Izuku gently inserted the needle into her vein, taking only as much as Himiko needed. He pulled the needle out slowly, shutting the lid on the accompanying jar. She opened her eyes, staring at her arm in confusion. That didn't hurt? She asked quietly, to herself. Izuku shook his head, pushing his energy into the small jar and putting it in his pocket. The timer was almost down now, and he sighed. Let's get you back in there, okay? She nodded, opening the door and shutting it gently. He's going to be coming soon. It's been too long. She spoke gently, picking up each toy and carefully placing it back in its spot perfectly. Izuku sighed, touching the jar slightly. We'll have you out of here before he can touch you again. She nodded slightly, moving to sit on the edge of her bed, staring at the door. I'll be waiting. Her voice was almost too quiet to hear, another tear rolling down her cheek. Izuku left before he could second-guess himself, moving as fast as he could in the direction of Eraserhead's rope. He couldn't risk using it for fear of losing that vial that Himiko needed. They had to get this right.
Alrighty, my little learners, that's a wrap of this one. So we got them going in to save Eri and taking down the Yakuza. What did you think, editor?
I thought it was quite cool, actually. Like, it was very interesting when I was, like, editing it, although there was a lot of mistakes.
Obviously, it's me. There's going to be mistakes.
But it was actually pretty good. I liked it.
Thank you. I'll tell Kitty you said that. Well, they're going to listen to this chapter probably, but if they don't, I will tell them. Anyways, so my little learners, this is a little reminder that you might have something you need to check. I hope you all have a fantastic time wherever, whenever you may be, day, night, dusk, dawn, low tide, high tide, whatever it is for you. You Can Call Me Lovegood, and that was Chapter 19, Part 1 out of 2 of Ghostly Bonds by KittyKqt on AO3. Again, the link to this fic will be in the pinned comment by me on this video, and tags are in the description as well as warnings. Bye, hello learners!